So closing your eyes, take a couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just letting your day melt away. Anything that is hanging out in your brain space, you can put it on pause. And as we move through our practice, because it is a yin practice and it is very subtle, there's probably going to be plenty of times where your brain wants to take over and hijack your practice. So keep that pause button handy. And just when you notice the brain wandering off with your awareness and your attention, just hit pause, just say pause to yourself and keep on keeping on. I'm going to have a nice, slow hips and upper leg practice today. So we're going to start in a pose that we did last week. You're not going to need any props for this. Maybe have like a strap or something handy. Probably won't need it, but. And we're going to start on our bellies with that knee pulled up. So doesn't matter what leg you pull up, but just pulling it up as high as you can. And then I like to take my arms out into cactus and turn my head towards my knee. I'm going to stay here for about 3 minutes. I don't like to do this one super long because I tend to fall asleep. This is like my go-to insomnia position. It's really calming for your nervous system. Once you kind of get yourself settled, if you feel like you need any support in under this left leg or under the pelvis, then you can just bring a pillow or blanket in there. Once you're nestled in and comfy, take a couple rounds of relaxing breath. So in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just ask all the little pieces of you that want to hang on and still be tense and tight to let go. So whether it's your tongue or your jaw, your forehead, maybe you'll notice it in your hands or your toes. Maybe you're finding that you're holding through the pelvic floor or around your sacrum, or maybe in that inner thigh. If there's any place where there's unnecessary tension, go ahead and let it go. And see if you can invite a nice softness
into your low back, into your low belly. So really big breaths, expanding through the low back and low belly as you inhale, and then surrendering as you exhale. And then I want you to grab hold of that knee and pull it up a little higher. You might need to walk the foot out. And then this is where you may or may not need a strap. Sometimes I just grab my pant leg and I like to just straighten out that leg and bring it up towards my head as much as I can. And then really try to get my chest square to the floor. And I'm really just hanging on to my pant leg or my toes here to stop because I'm on the soft floor and my leg would slide back. So it's not like I'm doing a lot here. I'm literally just grabbed hold of my pants and then relaxing everything back down. And this should really feel good through the inner thigh. And don't feel the need to force anything here. So some of our bodies want to externally rotate, or some of them are going to want to internally rotate here. And just allow the body to be completely relaxed with no attachment to whether the leg is kind of trying to roll in or is trying to roll out. Do keep that standing leg, that back leg, nice and heavy. I'm not pulling on this leg so much and trying to hike it up so much that this leg needs to kind of give way. It stays exactly where it is. And you might find that you cannot straighten the leg at all, and that's fine as well. You just want to find that kind of end range of movement where you can still relax and not have to hang on to anything. And you're going to go ahead and bend that knee, lengthen the leg back down, and let's take our middle middle section sphinx. So elbows under the shoulders, hands in front of the elbows. And we'll sit here for 3 minutes. You want to make sure your pelvis is nice and even here, so we're going to wiggle the hips out. The shoulders are moving away from the ears, but there's not like a pushing or a tension here. It's just they're relaxed away from the ears. The head is in a neutral position. And let's actually add something. So anything you've got nearby, and this is optional, but because we have so much neck tension from our heads kind of being pushed forwards, you can take something between your collarbones and your chin and try to hold it in place. And this is going to help the scalenes, so the muscles kind of right in the front of the throat that typically feel like guitar strings but should not. It's going to help them turn off, and it's going to help strengthen these muscles in the back of the neck so that we start getting our heads on a little more straight. All right. And then you're just going to switch sides. I'm going to turn around just for visual purposes. So we start off with that leg just pulled up, knee bent, hands in kind of a cactus position, and looking towards that knee. Relaxing. So great for the central nervous system. So take a couple deep breaths and really let yourself melt into this one. And use your breath, really big expansive breath into the belly and low back, expanding, stretching all that tissue, And then as you exhale, really surrendering, allowing the pelvis to be heavy, allowing that nice juicy stretch all around the right hip or the bent leg hip, whichever leg you're on. And then you're gonna go ahead and grab hold of that knee, pull it up, walk the foot out, and maybe pull it up. Oh, and each side is different, as you can see. Again, we want to stay nice and relaxed. Relaxing any muscles that are wanting to help out here. Maybe the glutes or the hamstrings, the low back, just softening all of that. And again, resisting attachment to whether the leg wants to internally or externally roll. Just allowing yourself to relax and melt. And resisting attachment to the difference between the two sides. And bending, releasing.
Coming back to Sphinx. Now, if you want to kick your Sphinx up a notch, you can take yourself up a little bit higher for this round. Also, you can bring in your little neck releasing object. Wiggle out those hips. And we're continuing with a nice deep breaths into the belly and low back. You're going to release the neck hold. Tuck your tailbone, engage your glutes, draw your belly button back towards your tailbone, and then push into your elbows and knees. Press yourself back. We're going to come into wide knee child's pose. So toes will stay together, knees will come super wide as they can go. And you're going to drop your butt back onto your heels. And then you're going to go ahead and lengthen yourself down. Now, if this is a little too intense through the hips, you can always use your blocks to bring yourself up a bit so that you are more supported. And we continue with that nice, relaxed belly breath, low back breath, expanding and surrendering. Putting your arms wherever you want. You can relax them out in front of you or at your sides. You can even take them, like internally rotate and relax, or take them behind the back.
kind of whatever feels good to you. And then you're going to come on up. Gently walk those knees one at a time in. And then let's just take a quick stretch through the upper ankle and shins. So just feet together, knees together. Tip back into your hands and then lift your knees up as high as they'll go. Drop your shoulder, relax your jaw. And release back down. All right, so you are going to want to have a strap nearby. We are going to come onto our backs. And we'll do the hamstrings as the second part. So, well, no, let's do the hamstring as the first part. So, feet are going to be flat on the floor. You're going to take your right leg up, put the strap around the ball of the foot, so it's below the toes, but in front of the arch, and then start to pull that leg back. You can keep the left leg bent if you'd like, or you can extend it down. Extending it down is going to make it more intense. Now, the thing I want you to be careful of is if you are extending it down, is that you're not scissoring your hips open, because we want to scissor the hips closed. So what do I mean by scissoring the hips open? I mean lifting that booty up so that you can get the foot higher, okay? I want you to scissor them closed. So my sits bones are scissoring towards each other, my inner thighs are scissoring towards each other. My pelvis, I can just draw a line right across, okay? It wouldn't be tipped. So if you're finding that that's hard to not do, you know, it's hard to not tip your pelvis with the leg extended, then go ahead and keep the leg bent. Sometimes I just really like the added support that foot being on the floor gives me.
And really you're just kind of hanging your arms down off of the strap. Trying to relax everything as much as you can. And these poses always kind of bring out the tension, typically in your face, your neck, your shoulders. So keep an eye on that. Just notice, maybe give it a wiggle, soften, a big sigh maybe. Just take a couple more deep breaths. You're going to let that strap go. Bend the knee, bring the foot to the floor, and then take the opposite leg and cross the ankle over at the knee. And then pull it in. You can take the back of the thigh if that's available. You can take the front of the shin if that's available. But if you're finding that you're kind of in this place with your head up off the ground and you're hanging and you're really uncomfortable, then go ahead and place some support behind the head, whether it's a pillow or a block, so that you can, even if this is as, far as you can kind of take the head back, you're still supported. So put a block back there if you need to. If you've got any knee issues, that leg that's on the front, you can flex that foot if you're feeling any tenderness in the knee. If not, just stay nice and relaxed. Relax your jaw, your tongue, your forehead. See if you can actually feel the heaviness of your eyeballs Just letting them rest back towards the brain. And then see if you can relax the brain itself. So feel the weight of the brain resting in the backside of the skull. And then we're going to grab the strap, put it around that bent leg that's in front, and take that leg up and the other leg to the floor. Again, we're going for the ball of the foot, so in front of the arch, behind the toes. And again, you can have the foot resting on the floor or the leg extended down. Leg extended down is going to be more challenging, and again, you want to make sure that your sitting bones are scissoring towards each other. Your thighs are scissoring towards each other, so we don't let the hips go all wonky. Let the shoulders move away from the ears. Find any tension that you're holding from the shoulders up to the top of the head and soften that. And you're going to unhook that foot, set the strap off to the side, bend the knee, bring it onto the floor, and then take the opposite leg across the knee, and then pull the leg up. Again, you can take
the front of the knee, back of the thigh. And if you find yourself in a position with your head's lifted, go ahead and put something in under the head so that you can rest the head on something. Soften your jaw, relax your tongue. Just notice what's going on with your breath. Try to lengthen it out, slow it down. Relax your tongue. Go ahead and unwind your legs. Hug both knees into your chest. And then rock and roll forwards and backwards. You're gonna rock yourself all the way up. Plant your feet, bring your feet together. And you're gonna spread your toes wide. And then set your knees down on the floor, but keep the heels lifted and together. We're just gonna spend like a minute here. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Resist the temptation to lean forward and take your weight out of your heels. I know that this is the least exciting place you've been in a long time, I'm sure. And then you're going to just tip forward to come out of the pose. Mind your hands. Release your feet. I like to kind of tap them on the ground. It helps move the anger out of my toes. Okay, and we're going to finish up with a twisting straddle. So opening up into a straddle.
If you find that you've got a lot of tension in the low back and in the hamstrings and that this is really hard to sit up, then bend the knees, shove a pillow or a block under those knees so that you can relax and sit up straight. And we're going to be taking this into a twist. And you may or may not want to have a block handy just to rest your forehead on. So twisting to one side, I'm still nice and long through my spine. I'm looking at my big toe. And then I'm just going to tip as far as I can without lifting the opposite sit bone. So that butt cheek stays on the floor, my spine stays nice and long. And then as soon as I feel either the butt cheek wanting to lift up or the spine wanting to round, I'm going to stop there. Take a nice slow inhale. And then as I exhale, I'm just going to, as if my forehead is weighted, drop my forehead down towards my knee or towards the leg. You want to resist the urge to rotate. Really keep the shoulder and chest square to the thigh. And then you're welcome to find support in any way that you need to. You want to feel like you still have the space to melt into it, but you want to make yourself a little more comfortable. Go ahead and roll yourself up. And then we'll switch sides. Rotating to the opposite leg. Start to tip yourself forward, reaching your nose for your big toe. And as soon as you find that that other butt cheek wants to lift up or that your spine wants to round, you're going to stop there. Take a nice long inhale. And then exhale and melt down. Again, keeping the chest square to the floor, square to the leg. And then finding support wherever you need to, if you need to.
And then slowly coming up.
Bend those knees in using your hands. And we're going to head towards Shavasana, but we are going to take the scenic route. So you're going to come onto your back. Bring the balls of the feet together and let the knees open up outwards. Option to put blocks in under the knees. As you get yourself settled, you want to externally rotate from your shoulder blades. So feel those shoulder blades draw towards the spine and towards the hips. So your neck is long and your chest is open. And then just for this next minute, 50 seconds really, I want you to focus your breath into the lower abdomen. Inhaling as if you were filling up your uterus. Exhaling, letting those inner thighs soften and surrender. And then go ahead and lengthen the legs down. Give them a little shake, a wiggle in and out. And then let yourself completely relax. Let your breath go. Let everything go. Shavasana.
deepening your breath, starting to send the breath into every nook and cranny of the body to wake it up. And nice and slow, starting to move. Making your way onto your side. Just resting here for a couple breaths. And keep your head heavy and your neck rubbery. You roll yourself up and make your way back to seated. Couple more cleansing breaths, nice and big, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Bring your hands onto your heart, one hand on top of the other. Turning your attention inwards, seeing if you can feel the rhythm of your heart, feeling the rhythm of your breath. And feeling how the breath actually massages the heart. See if you can expand your breath to feel as if your entire body is breathing, every cell expanding and contracting. And just basking in gratitude and amazement at the amazingness of our physical being. And thank you guys so much for joining me today. Namaste.